Dr. Kennedy Graham.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We have an old-fashioned crisis on our hands. It is a test of 21st century diplomacy whether it can be resolved peacefully and with political foresight. Current international law and global norms offer some guidance as to how the situation can be resolved. But as with every crisis, there are conflicting issues at stake. The challenge is to cut a critical path of principle through a complex situation of fact. The two cardinal precepts that underpin peace today are these. First, non-violence and peaceful settlement. No crisis has ever been resolved in the modern era through the use of force. If force is employed, the tensions are simply buried. The Crimea will be no exception. Second, sovereignty and territorial integrity. No country has the right to unilaterally intervene in the domestic affairs of another. There can be no surrender of these principles. No subordinate reason can be advanced to overturn them. Protection of civilians is not an automatic reason. Yet Moscow has claimed the right to intervene militarily in order to protect Russian-speaking Ukrainians from Ukrainians. The Russian base in Crimea accords it no special rights in Ukraine any more than Okinawa does to the United States and Japan. This is not to disregard either the legitimate interests of Russia as a proud nation in Eurasia or the genuine needs of the Russian-speaking citizens of Ukraine. It is simply to assert that military force is not the way to solve the problems of today. That applies equally to all countries when they too contemplate aggression, such as the illegal attack on Iraq by the US, Britain and Australia 10 years ago this month. The Crimea is not simply an issue for Russia. It is a global issue involving universal norms of human rights, democracy, self-determination. Russia must take no military action against the rest of Ukraine, but rather engage in dialogue with Ukrainian authorities through the UN's peace envoy. And the Western countries must stop discouraging Ukrainian leaders from such dialogue. States that talk don't shoot. The Green Party urges an immediate freeze on military deployment, a dialogue between Ukrainian and Russian leaders under UN auspices, initially without the US or the EU, followed by a further referral back to the UN Security Council.
Speaker.
Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Mr. Speaker, New Zealand First supports the